So here's the situation. You're in a bar and you're chatting to some guys, and there are a group of guys, but there's two very particular people that are speaking to you. One who's obviously very keen to speak to you, and two, the other guy who you're probably a little bit more keen to speak to. Now, what's a bit awkward about this situation is sometimes guys will actually notice, and this is a bit of like male psychology, is guys will notice who's more into one girl than the other, right? So it's a bit like weird, but sometimes guys have a little thing called dibs, which is like, so the first guy who has interest in a girl will have like the right to claim her. And I don't like using those words, but that's like the psychology behind the situation. So once the first guy has that interest, more often than not, the other guy won't actually like take a shot or give a go at like actually speaking to you. But then you're at a loss because you're thinking, well, shit. So the guy you're not attracted to he's got dibs on you, and the guy you're actually wanting to speak to, he's the one who's like actually keeping himself at a distance because, well, you know, he's trying to be a good bro, trying to be a good wingman. He's probably speaking to your friends, right? So how you overcome this? And it's really interesting because this is actually something that if you do this, it'll actually make the whole situation a lot easier. And the guy who has dibs on you, or the guy who's actually interested in you, he'll know what's up. And he won't actually have to express what the situation is. Like, he won't actually have to say, excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm not interested in you. I'm interested in your friend, which is a bit of a weird situation if you were to do that, because no one really says those kinds of things. It's like, it should be subtly communicated. So what you do, and this is very subtle and it's very nuanced, and I wish I could get it more into a video like this. If you were here, if we were doing coaching, if you were part of one of my programs, I'd be able to show you personally how to do this. But for this video, I really hope I can get the gist across. And what it is, it's about body language and energy. You'll probably notice the guy that's interested in you is going to give you a lot of energy. He's probably going to be leaning in. He's probably going to be like, face is going to be protruding out a bit more, and he's probably going to be speaking a bit louder, and his eyes are going to be a little bit wider because he's giving you a lot of energy. But what you can do is do the thing that he's doing, but to the guy that you're interested in. So if he's speaking to you this way and giving you all this energy, what you do is then give your energy to the guy you're actually interested in. And that might give him a bit of a cold shoulder, and you might think that, you know, that it's a bit rude to do that. But in all honesty, that's what a lot of people do. And I'm not telling you something new. It's actually something that people naturally do. And due to being like too polite or being too afraid to express ourselves, we often don't. That we often do things, we get into situations, and then we end up doing things we don't want to do because we're trying to be too polite. But this is a way to be still polite, but actually hold your ground a bit more, because you want to speak to that other guy, right? So you'd have your energy to the side and you'd kind of talk to him over your shoulder. And when you do that, he's not getting your full energy and he starts to feel that your energy is moving there. Now, if that's not enough, because sometimes you probably imagine yourself being in a situation where you're talking to someone and they just won't stop talking no matter what you try to do. If that's not enough, the next thing you can do is give this guy eye signals. It's the same thing about energy. It's kind of taking the energy to the next level. So when you're talking to him, you kind of like, or if a better way is like, I'm looking here and I'm talking to someone and I want to give you energies, I'm looking at you, almost like communicating with you. So I've already started a conversation with you without this guy even knowing. And then when the guy actually gets the hint, because he will get the hint because you've actually made it a bit obvious, he will naturally join the conversation. And how this kind of breaks the whole dib situation, I really don't like the dib situation because it's like ownership when you don't own anyone. But how this breaks that is because the guy will naturally know that you're not interested, he'll give up. And if he's relentless, what'll actually happen is like he'll eventually get the hint because you just won't be giving him any grounds. It's like, why would you keep going up a rock surface that has all of these spikes and has all of these like things that stop you from actually progressing forward? Let me know in the comments below a situation where a guy's actually been speaking to you nonstop and his best friend, who you're super attracted to, is in the background, because again, those kinds of stories are always really funny. I love bad dating stories or bad communication stories because they're why I do this shit. Anyway, cool. Comment in the things below and make sure to subscribe for more videos about life and love and how the two come together. Until next time, mwah, Harvey out.